Hey friends, good morning. Atlantis Summon, and there is this guy with a costume. Well. I know most players were scared, worried of pulling this fellow. Usually, players are scared of facing certain fellows, but this fellow is one unique Mok-Arr. Legendary dark fellow that I remember many players were very worried of pulling him. So he gets a costume. And from that becomes this. So I think the first part is heartening that he is 5 class, which has a possibility to revive, and hence it's a good, considered to be a good class. I also consider it to be a good class, especially these days when I have costume Gazelle. She revives and many times is fully charged up with that 1 HP, and then she heals herself and gives the buff to and does whatever she provides to the team, and it's fun. So yeah, that's that. There is this bonus that gives attack from 2 heroes onwards, the Lagoon family. And costume bonus is still tricky and considered to be, I think, some kind of SG needs to manage it. So it's 3361. I don't know why the hell can't they just standardize and match it to season 1, because there's really nothing over here that can be different. There's some fuck up at some level. I will leave it at that. So 773, 705, 1456. So it's a confused stats, I will call it. Because I can't call 773 to be high attack. I guess in season 2 it was high, and 705 was a good defense. But not now. I mean, when I look at this, it's similar. The health is, I would say, good enough. Considering today, so I think SG needs to do something to sort this out. The special is Emerald Tide, which used to be Black Tide. Okay, let's see what's the difference with an Emerald at average speed. Deals 280 damage to all enemies, 270 it was earlier. All dark allies and enemies get plus 54 attack for 4 turns, which means for 3-2 play, which most players do, or even mono, this aspect comes really well into play. All allies and enemies that are not dark element get minus 44 attack for 4 turns. Okay, so the non-dark allies and enemies, they get a reduced attack, and this effect is incleansable for all holy enemies. Okay, so there is some kind of a screw up that is already designed for this fellow. Deals extra damage against holy. Okay, that is welcome. So there is good amount of damage, being done in the form of direct damage. Then there is a buff which all dark allies and enemies get. So one has to be. I'm looking at the allies' benefits. So there's an attack up. Yes, the opposition will get the benefit. That's how this hero has been designed. Then deals extra damage against holies, which is available primarily to Mok-Arr and his allies. So yeah, I mean, still, I will say confusing, weird, and I'm sure this costume, I personally wouldn't want to pull and have this hero which will get fed in the soul exchange. I wouldn't even hesitate, but then that is because of my roster, and don't want to sound pompous, but roster options do play an important role. Honestly speaking, for many, a lot of gameplay, this is fantastic because he is average speed, hits all, and there is a buff available. But yes, for map, usually we don't stack a lot, so it's a lot of farming is done, at least by me, with a, I would say, a rainbow team, but when I see comes in handy in many situations, like apart from the regular raid and so on and so forth, where certain scenarios this fellow will have to be clearly avoided, but can come in handy for play. But for events he can, because of the hit all and that attack buff that he gives, because in events mostly players stack multiple of the same color, so that aspect comes in handy. And I will leave it at that, because I'm also experiencing a resistance which actually shows that a couple of aspects of this fellow, at least giving benefits to the enemies, can actually be a little bugging factor. So that's that. I will leave it at it. But I think the best part is the hit all, that buff, and this. So not a bad option. So maybe I think I can leave it at that. So that's that. Let's go to the other option. So I think this Atlantis is about those heroes that, this is still a fuck up. Those heroes that players just avoid because of that design aspect. And in case of DanZaburro, there is this design aspect is there, but these three options. So let's go through it. Sorcerer was earlier. The rogues, at least that rogue dodgy rogue used to be a little useful. But okay. Lagoon family has the mana benefit, which is 2 fellows. I cannot remember. There is one. I think Agwe, if I remember. Is he the Lagoon family? Maybe. I don't think so. I can't remember. Okay. This I just showed is of no use. Not much use. Stats 609, 667, 1351. All 1351 health is on a good side for a 4-star. Rest is 667 is okay, and 609 attack is basically very low. Amazing deals is the special at average speed. Sell junk for specific effect. So the first one is Dull Swords. Deals 270 damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 39 attack for 3 turns. Okay. Questionable Snake Oil. All enemies get minus 24 mana gen, and all enemies get minus 44 defense for 3 turns. Okay, so these 2 are good. Clearance Sale increases mana of all allies except the caster by 3%, so that's nothing. The caster can gain mana for 2 turns, and this effect can't be cleansed. What was it earlier? Damage, accuracy, mana, and defense, and can't gain and can't be cleansed. So the last part is increases mana. So there is a little increase of mana. Yeah. So mana addition straight away by 3%. So small amount of mana. And can't gain mana for 2 turns. That has stayed. So I think this clearance sale portion is a little... There is a small benefit inserted, so makes this costume a little better than that one. But slows the speed and gives defense down compared to defense up for allies. So that one is good. Slows the enemy, and also maybe compared to the main regular hero, this portion is good, I would say. Though that accuracy aspect, all enemies getting minus 54 accuracy for 3 turns was fantastic. So, but then we don't know, because I'm not in control of that if I'm using him. So still I will leave him in the confused zone, but a little better than the original version. And that's it. I don't need to speak too much or blabber. So I will leave it at that. And this chick is surely a good one, though I still haven't seen much of her. Which means not many are pulling in this portal, and hence not many have her. Yeah, that's that. Because when I look at this the featured, she's good, and nobody else is required because two are heroes of the month, which I think many players already have, though she is fantastic. I most of the times get confused with the Kara being a he, but I have to remind that that's a she. And she, I remember, was really useful because of the element link, that there is a small amount of mana at the end of the turn. So really useful at that time, but of course now there are too many other options that exist. I've already spoken about this character and I think every other relevant one, so I will leave it at that. Good luck for any hero that you're pulling for, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.